Okay. Starting to understand my man Paul. Yo, yo, yo. Alright, fight week, fight night. UFC 247, Jon Jones versus Dominick Reyes. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch. Are you gonna watch? Or what do you think of the fight if you see this video after? Today was ceremonial weigh-in where people took off their clothes and got cheered at. So did Jon Jones. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so we got a clip of the Mac Life here. I'm gonna forward it a bit because I don't want any copyright bullcrap claim anything. Here's Dominic. I think he's gonna lose. It was here that for the first time I could read the tattoo of Jon Jones. Philippians 4:13. And that sparked my interest. Like, he's arguably the greatest fighter of all time. Why does he have that on his chest? So what exactly is Philippians 4:13? Well, obviously it's a Bible verse, and I wanted to Google it to find out why the hell it's on that man's tete. And immediately I saw it's one of the most used Bible verses from the New Testament, but also notoriously misused. The most misinterpreted verse in the Bible. I don't care if you're a fight man or woman or if you're religious or not. That sounds kind of interesting, right? So yeah, let's find out what the hell this is about. Help me out here, YouTube. This is 5 minutes. Do we have 5 minutes? Let's just see why this verse is so controversial.
Philippians 4:13, one of the most classic, most quoted verses in all of Christianity and kind of even in the world when it comes to famous quotes. And that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We usually see that showing up in...
If you're a religious person, such as Jon Jones claims, makes sense.
Particular context, and I personally think because of that, it's grossly distorted to what really the Apostle Paul, when he wrote that to the Philippians, the context we use it in, and you probably have seen it today too, is either an athlete or some famous figure before they go into something they really need success in. And what they're really saying is, well, I'm going to win this, or I'm going to get success because I have Jesus. Almost if Jesus is some genie that they can kind of just rub the lamp and he's got to show up at the championship game, right? And they can do all things because of...
Why is this misinterpretable?
Him. Now, there might be some truth in there, but I think there's a lot of distortion, and it really comes down to context. I remember being at a Christian university, and before you take a final or, a test at midterms, people would say, oh, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it's like, well, yeah, but did you study?
For now, I'm guessing the misinterpretation or the misuse is because you owe your success only to Jesus. Jesus. Wow. Of course, you've been preparing, been studying, whatnot, and that also contributes to the success.
Before we go into an event, but the context not only meant probably the exact opposite, but it's actually Paul saying it after something happened. To give you some history, this was written 2,000 years ago, roughly, and it's almost like us reading someone else's mail. It was a letter Paul wrote to the Philippians, the church at Philippi, and he was in jail at the time. And so in verse 12, he says this, before the famous 13. He says, I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and of hunger, abundance and of need. I can do all...
Don't use big words I don't understand.
...things through him who strengthens me. So what is Paul saying there? He's not saying,
Paul. Talking about him like it's a beetle.
I'm going into this championship game, or I'm going into this thing and I can do it because of Jesus. He's actually saying, hey, I'm in prison. Hey, I actually have been beat up. I have been shipwrecked. I have been hungry. I've been in need. But because Jesus sustains me, Jesus is my identity, I am satisfied in him, I can get through this. So rather it being about successes, it's almost about failures. Paul's saying, I don't know what's coming next because I have been hungry.
Okay. Starting to understand my man Paul. You can get through hardship because of Jesus. What a guy.
I've also been fed. I've had a lot of money. I've had a little money. But it doesn't matter. Those don't define me. Those aren't my identity because Jesus is my strength. And so when you let that sink in, it's almost a verse rather about, like, for if you take the sports example again, it's almost less about you succeeding in the championship game or in the boxing ring, and it actually should be an encouragement to you when you lose. And you say, hey, I can get through this because my identity is in Jesus. He gives me strength.
Jefferson Bethke. Thanks for clarifying. That was interesting. It's not as controversial as I was thinking, hoping, anticipating, but it's interesting. Let's see if the last 2 minutes are worthy to watch. By the way, did you see this? Dana. If you are if you're religious,